What's going on, everybody? I'm Sal with the boys. Here we are at PRI 2025, where these guys will be interviewing Matt and Tony. Fortunately, I won't be there, but these guys got it. Episode 4 starts now.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it. All right, good morning, guys. We are here with Tony and Matt. Of course, we've got Ricky and Rimbo. We're all together at PRI doing the next episode of the Badassador podcast. Thank you guys for spending the time sitting down with us. We got a chance to meet these guys at Roadkill Nights earlier this year, and now it's turned into this beautiful journey where we get to see you guys, every other month it seems, which is a lot of fun.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
See you guys out at the track and stuff.
Absolutely. Are you guys having a good time at PRI so far?
It's a lot of work, but I mean, and the fun part, at least from my perspective, because I've driven in so many different disciplines of motorsports, it's kind of like a reunion, because what PRI is truly all about for the racers is coming and doing the deals for their teams for the next season,
right.
Products and parts and all that stuff. So, but you're getting all these racers in the same building, but I know racers in this discipline over here, so it's kind of like a big reunion, and everybody gets to hang out, and everybody's got their work during the day, and then everybody goes and has dinners and has their spots they hang out and catch up. So it's a fun week for racers to be here, but it is a lot of work at the same time.
Definitely
Is this y'all's first time?
First time? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you freaking kidding me?
How long have you guys been coming to PRI?
Since 1900 shit.
Oh, yeah?
So it's been a long time.
Tony,
That's awesome.
you were born in Indiana. This is your home state.
Yeah, I literally have, my ranch is 45 minutes south of
there you
here.
go.
There you
So
go.
That's where the after party's at, right?
That's
Well,
where we're headed right after the pod.
we actually, I'm going home this evening to get ready for the TSR Christmas party tomorrow. So we've got all of our nitro teams. Rico Abreu, who's driving our World Outlaw Sprint car, his team's going to be there tomorrow night. Our TQ Midget team that's based down of Indiana here, they won the championship again. They're going to be there. And a lot of really good friends and family that are really close to the TSR Racing team that'll be there as well. So we got a big night tomorrow night. Sunday is nothing but recovery and hopefully at some point getting out of bed and not throwing up and everything, but it'll be fun.
Well, you'll have to pass
Yeah.
along the dress code for tomorrow night then. We might have to pick up a shirt. I didn't bring anything nice. No, but this is a great experience. PRI has been awesome for us too. Matt, if you have anything to say about being at PRI this year.
For me, I get to walk the show here in a little bit. It's probably been 5 or 6 years since we haven't had stuff blocked out to where we're not running around doing something. So Kelly, our GM, she was just like, "You guys want to walk the show?" I was like, "Absolutely." So 12 o'clock or whatever, we're pretty much done after we're done with you guys, and get to kind of bounce around and see some of the stuff with vendors and stuff. Where most of the time we're just kind of like in here, boom, 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 grind it out. Like Tony said, do some dinners and obviously the relationship side of things, keeping that going. I think that's what people miss out. I think a lot of times everybody thinks, man, you just show up and drive a race car and drink beer and have fun and win races and all that kind of stuff, which we do a lot of that. But there's just a lot of the behind the scenes,
We do all of that.
all of that. Yeah. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that is just people don't realize that the keeping the relationships alive, and then the vendors, and then the associate sponsors. I mean, we have so many associate sponsors that are here in these buildings right now that we have to go kind of show face and say hi and thank you for supporting what we do and all that kind of stuff. So it is incredible to be at this level of competition and stuff, but it takes a massive amount of partners to do what we do. So we're always excited to see them. We're always excited to support what they do, and the B2B business side of stuff. I think most people don't realize how much B2B goes into what we do out here. A lot of times people think, oh, it's a sticker and a smile and you got to go win races, but there's been sponsors along the way with what we do that you don't have to win a race at all. You just got to figure out how to make them money on the backside of doing this and that, and the race car becomes a tool for them to rally behind. And as long as they're making millions of bucks or saving millions of dollars, they're gonna put that sticker.
There's
on
a
the
value,
car.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
So,
it's a good way to say that there's so much of the job that takes place off the track, out of the garage. Like you said, walking around, meeting people, just being a face for these different brands.
Yeah, I mean,
companies you represent.
Like I used to have a New Holland sponsorship, and they have 4 factories inside the United States. Well, then you go like, well, who's doing your CNC work, and who's doing your cutting wheel, and who's doing this and this and this, who's doing your tooling? You know what I mean? So all those type of things roll into those the one sponsorship. You know what I mean? And trying to get them discounts on this and those businesses over there and doing that kind of stuff. So Tony's kind of a master at it, right? Like he's been been along all these years making and all these relationships. So having a guy like that to be able to open up so many doors to so many partners, it makes the job a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like PRI every year is like the one time where everyone is able to network and reach everybody at the same time. At least like we just went to SEMA. We came back from SEMA, but it seems like from a networking perspective, PRI is the place to be, especially when it comes to
It's definitely more.
It's a lot more relaxed too, which I like. So
it's still high paced though. Like you guys are saying now, you guys actually get a break and you can actually enjoy the show of PRI instead of doing interviews and all that. You guys don't have a set schedule, so it's like nice to actually enjoy the show because like even us.
Oh, it is nonstop set schedule. That's the thing. It's like Matt says. I mean, for all of our associate partners, you're at 9 o'clock. You're at this booth for 30 minutes signing, and then you got a 15-minute window to get to this booth over here and do another 30-minute signing, and then you're off to 15 minutes to walk to NHRA stage to do an interview there. So that's where the work part comes in. But at the same time, it's like Matt said. I mean, we work with all these partners throughout the year, but you get to come to the show, and at least for that 30 minutes while we're signing and dealing with the people at the show, we're also, having conversations with our people that we work with, and we're not at the racetrack where we're worried about going fast. We get to hang out with them, enjoy them, kind of in a semi-neutral setting, so to speak.
We were over there, we got new gloves coming out, they got some new booties going on, like the race suit Tony was using last year. I was checking it out to see if that's something that I want to do while we're there doing those booths and stuff. So having those products in there and being able to put your hands and touch and feel and smell and scratch and sniff and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, it definitely.
And you don't get the time on a race weekend to do that kind of stuff. You're focused on, like you said, on the other bigger picture, which is winning the race. Yeah. No, that's great. PRI SEMA was amazing. We got a chance to meet Leah Pruitt, Tony's wife, on the.
Why she always get the love first, man? We're not pretty enough.
No, we're not. Just for the record, we know we're not pretty enough for this deal.
Like y'all don't have time to do it. So, we even had your guy reach out, try and get you guys on the podcast. It's cool, full circle. We're here now. And
I'm so happy we were able to make it happen. Yeah. It's been so much fun. I mean, our interview with Leah was super fun, and she has a great perspective in the sport that she just was able to deliver. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but other people have actually made clips of that weren't us. I saw it on TikTok that made it from Leah's interview because she goes she knows everything. So she goes so in depth. Somebody actually took and put their own caption on because I made our clip and I was like, wait, I didn't make that clip, but it was Leah's interview. So it must have been one of Leah's fans saw the interview, enjoyed it, clipped it. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
That's cool.
So we enjoy it. We're grateful to be doing this kind of stuff. And I mean, shoot, we have a lot that we could cover from your guys' racing history, some of those things. We most recently your NHRA. The last championship ended a little bit early because of the weather. I don't know if there's anything that you want to touch on with that.
One of those things you look at, like, so what I do have a lot of respect for was NHRA came to my team owner, they came to our crew chiefs, they came to even like Mark Whitney got involved with Dodge, you know what I mean, from what I understand. And they said, look guys, what do you think? Obviously the sand pit is full of water. It's going to take a couple of days to get the track up and going. We have the banquet, we have a lot of other things that are kind of balls in the air with all this stuff. And as a racer, you want to race, right? Like, there's no doubt about that. There's like, I don't care if we got to go to Vegas and unload these things and, flip a coin and best 2 out of 3, you know what I mean? But that's just my mentality, right? Like, that's you as a racer. But I think you have to step back sometimes and understand there's a lot of stuff involved and there's a big picture, and that's, your team owner and your sponsors and everybody else in NHRA as an organization. They have to break it down and consider it and try to do what's best for the group as a whole. And it is tough, when Tony was like, hey man, like, I think this is it. You know what I mean? I was like, man, cause there's always that shot, right? Like, so for me, I lived it in 2010. I just had to show up and go one round and I win the championship when I'm running for second year driving the car, still learning to drive the car, still figuring out how to talk and how to, just the sponsorship side of things and everything else. I'm in a fuel car and I'm just like, ripping and roaring, and we're winning races, and I just had to show up, and John had to win the race, right? So we went out there and I lost first round, and I even had a teammate, Jack Beckman, that faced John second or third round and could have put him out, and we won the championship. And he got beat on a hole shot, and so I was like, bro, you know what I mean? But like, it wasn't my year, right? Like, so, but I watched that unfold, and we were in the same situation, where you're thinking like, man, it's a long shot, but that's why you race them, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was really tough to kind of go like, okay, But as I've matured, as I've gotten older, as I've, learned things are not always in your control, this is the hand we're dealt. And, we move forward. That year we runnered up, and the next year I will come back and won the championship. And, this year we runnered up, and we got to keep working hard to try to put ourselves in a position to win the championship again next year. And what's really good is Tony gives us all the parts and pieces. We have unbelievable sponsors that really rally behind what we do, and they believe in Tony and all the decisions that he makes. And it's just he's a great boss, right? So he's leading, I'm following, and we're going doing it. So if he says jump, I say how high, man. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of So but it's just nothing but support, and and unfortunately it was something that we wanted to race, but it just the situation just wouldn't allow it. So
no, that's totally fair. I mean, that's a great way from a competitor. I totally understand. From a competitive standpoint, I understand what you say. You want your shot.
Yeah.
Like give me a chance, even if whatever it might be. You want your shot, but also you're a face for the sport. You're a face for the organization, and this is what was better for the entire sport.
Going out here and bashing it or saying going against the grain, it doesn't do anything for the sport. You know what I mean? Like, we're here to grow our sport. We're here to bring young drivers up. We're here to be out here and promote it. And NHRA has evolved a lot. In the 20 years that I've been out here, I've watched it grow a lot. And, to bring any type of negativity to the plate just never goes over well. Like, everybody wants that controversy and that WWE stuff. But, like, at the end of the day, it's like we got to be all pulling, like Tony's saying, is pull the rope in the same direction, right? And that's what we got to do as a group as a whole.
The thing that was the biggest factor that we had, and it's weeks after Pomona has been over and we've left the banquet and all that, but it was tough to sit there and read on social media people that are in the drag race space that there's some that were being tabloid journalists and stirring up crap about it, and what they either don't realize or don't care because they just care about themselves is the perception they gave the fans, and that there was that people were getting cheated out of this and that, and because that was their question, did this guy get cheated out of it? There were 3 drivers that logistically had a shot to win a championship, and so the same guy that's on a publication that just kept feeding it out there for those 3 guys was, did they get cheated? Well, he's just doing it for engagement.
Of course.
But the problem is it
plants a bad seed.
You're planting a seed with all these people that are following of, the fans got cheated, the teams got cheated, the drivers got cheated. We were all brought in, and we were told the situation. The biggest thing that really pisses me off about this guy, there's a couple different sites that did this that really pissed me off, was that first and foremost, the decision was based off of safety. That's my guy, that's my driver, that's my friend.
Absolutely.
He's a big brother to me. Yeah, but he's my family too. And I care about him. It's my responsibility to take care of him the best we can with every race car that he climbs in that we own. So for us, and knowing that track conditions weren't safe, the safety conditions at the end of the track, it was going to take a long time to get all that. So it wasn't just get the track dry and run cars down it. There's so much work that it takes to prep the track to get it in a spot where it's safe for these cars. It's his safety, it's succession rate, which we knew the track conditions were going to be sketchy. That just leads to us blowing motors up. You crash a car, you're putting your drivers in danger. So that was the first and foremost front of it.
For days after they called it.
Yeah, I mean, literally the day after we left, the sun came out. But you couldn't have ran that day. There were so many things that still needed to happen to do that. So that's the frustrating part for us was, it's disappointing to not have that shot in the last race like that and on that day. But, at some point you got to go, it cost all of us money to do it. The first and foremost, the safety of our drivers and our teams and our equipment. I mean, there were a lot of variables that made it where what just wasn't possible. You got to remember, guys, there's 2 things that are undefeated in the world, in the history of the world: death and Mother Nature. And one of those 2 got us that weekend. I mean, that's just facts. But none of us can change it. And Matt and I've even talked about it. I mean, we had 5 races to get ourselves there. We were trying to get there on the last race, and nothing wrong with that. But that's something that can happen. I mean, this was just an example of an anomaly that never rains in Southern California in the fall like that.
It rained 50 days before that.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden now you rain for 3 straight days, an amount of rain that just made it to where it just wasn't possible to finish it.
That's like a big thing is you have like all these fans and everyone, they're like so judgmental on social media. Even with us, like, since we got in this position, there's been people, everyone's going to comment, you know what I mean? Keyboard warriors, like you're going to run into that. But with the drag racing industry, is like everyone thinks it's just you get in a car and you go in a straight line.
Well, I think comment good or bad is great. Like, people are allowed to be upset about things or disagree. No different than like my race day fit stuff, right? Like, some people are like, that's not you. You're supposed to be this cowboy that's wearing bibs and overalls and cowboy boots, and what are you in leather snake skin pants for? But it's for fun, right? And like, people bash on that, but that's great. They're engaging. It's pushing our numbers up, and we push that to our sponsors and put value right. So it's okay.
Nice to have conflicts.
It's okay for people not to agree. You know what I mean? I like that, because it gives someone else another rebuttal in this, and then it grows, and
But what's healthy about it? It's only healthy if everybody has 100% of the information.
Right.
If person X that's on there is ranting and raving and carrying on about something, but they got 10% of the information, they're basing it off of everything they got, and that's forming their opinion. But there's 90% of the information that they don't know, that if they know that, probably sways that opinion again.
You get the full picture.
So what it becomes in our sport, and unfortunately in life in general now, we've seen it in so many areas. I mean, it becomes toxic.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're trying to do the right thing for the sport. You're trying to take care of the fans. You're trying to take care of the sponsors, the teams, the drivers, the owners. Just sometimes it doesn't work out. So that's the frustrating part for us, is like Matt says, I mean, Matt and Chloe do such an awesome job on social media, just doing fun things to let the fans have fun.
You guys are social media.
And so then you get these guys that complain about stupid shit for no reason.
Flip thing with the,
he did it.
Got some beef sticks out of it.
No, the one cheer me up before the race where you like had him spinning around, you see his feet up in the air. Dude, I sent that to you. And I was like,
we were like, we have to do that.
I like the one where we were feeding each other food with each other's hands. I lost my hat. I was
Was it like Whataburger or something? Yeah, that was funny.
Man, that is so fun to watch. Like, it's great to see you guys. Listen, you're a professional, but you also get to have fun while we do this. While we do a job.
Yeah,
You're real people. People connect with that, like you said. You don't have to agree about everything, right? You don't have to even find every video funny, but you connect with just being a real person.
Well, and then Tony, I never want to be as famous as Tony is, man. Like, this dude can't even eat his breakfast in the morning. So it's like, I think where he's been in NASCAR for so long, and those guys are so protected. You know what I mean? As far as like, you have to have a hot pass. Now you buy a $50 ticket, you get right here, me and Tony. You know what I mean? And so it's like, everybody's like, Tony. I was like, dude, let the guy eat his breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, he's a human being. You know what I mean? So, and Tony does a really good job of just standing out there until the line ends, man. And I'm just kind of like, hey, dude, you good? And he's like, no, we're good. So it's really kind of, I'm sure, very refreshing for our fans to see a guy that you couldn't get to, and now you can, and he's still out here doing that stuff. But I think a lot of times people need to remember too, it's like, he is still human, you know what I mean? And he still has to do his day-to-day stuff, and he has to, it's like, hey, he's sitting down eating eggs, you can't holler at him across the hospitality, and like, let him get his stuff going, that kind of stuff. So I hope our fans are a little bit mindful of that. And for me, I'm over here, I'm like, hey dude, here's $5, take my autograph.
But it's fun though. You hit the nail on the head though. That is the fun part of what we do with our social teams, and Chloe's the driving force behind that. I mean, she comes up with all these fun ideas, and she'll come over, and I can see when she comes over, she goes, hey, we got something. And I can tell by looking at her face, I'm like, the way she's looking at me, this is going to suck for us to do it. But then when you look at it and what it turns into, it's so funny. But it does. They know what we do driving the race car. I mean, fans have so much access to so much information. They know what we do driving the cars. They want to see what you're doing when you're not driving the cars.
Behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And that's what we were talking about, is like, we literally came up with this whole idea for the Dodge podcast, literally in a pool at Roadkill Nights.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
We got to meet all of you guys.
Just you three guys in a pool.
We're literally
there was zero women.
It's exactly the way you're picturing it.
All right.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
We went back to the second night.
Sound like a ditty party,
Wow.
We tried to get him, he was already out. He was already gone.
It was genuine, and it's like seeing your guys' content, it's genuine, and you're real people, It's like, I was just telling them last night about you and Cletus McFarland. You were doing the Sonic. You were trying to park it. Remember? I saw that video, and I was like, that is hilarious. I think you got, like 2 runs in, and you blew the tire out of the back?
Yeah, I told him after the first one, I was within a couple inches of being in there. I'm like, that's probably as good as it's going to get, bud. He goes, no, we got a bunch more attempts today. We'll do it. The next one, kapow, blow a tire off. And
it was cool seeing that.
That's so cool, man. Yeah.
You went there
Cletus is
to pick up a
too.
package.
It's funny.
That's all it was.
It's always way more fun when you can tear up somebody else's shit.
Oh yeah.
On their dime.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't trying to tear anything up, but yeah, he's really good at it.
Josh
So
gave us the keys to the 2026 six-pack, and like, literally, they just handed us the keys. Like, all right, have fun.
I drove that
Yeah.
like I stole it.
yeah, and that's
I don't have to pay for it. So
that's
okay.
the best part of working with Dodge is they don't want you driving it around, making sure it's shiny. They want you to run the shit out of it.
Yeah.
They want you to
Test it out.
flog it.
Test it for
All right.
Speaking of driving, so funny story with Tony. So we were in a Hellcat or whatever in downtown, and you know, I mean, I'm everybody knows Tony Stewart, right? You know, but I just never followed NASCAR or anything like that. So honestly, when I signed up here, I was like, man, I better figure out who I'm gonna work for here, you know. And you start pulling up all the accolades. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's done some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, we're just kind of cruising downtown. I think we were going out to dinner one night or something like that. And he's like, hey, bub, you know. Police bug outside here. And I was like, hold on. Yeah, dude. And we were like weaving in and out, all this stuff. But he's so smooth with it, dude. I was like, damn, I'm gonna take my panties off now. You know? I was like, this guy. I understand why he got paid a lot of money to be like that. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty
Oh,
smooth.
man.
Dude, and
No,
that's when you start slamming on the brakes and stuff because you're like the last thing you want is him sitting there trying to take off his panties in the front of the car. It kind of reminds me of time when there's three guys in a pool together talking about stuff. So you know, just saying. So
We're not
Oh man. Tony reaches over, he puts his hand on Matt's
that is not going to happen. If I did that, it's to keep him from doing something else that's going to be way worse. So
Matt's
trust
holding
me.
on to the oh shit bar.
Yeah. I was like, I understand why they pay you a lot of money, man. You know, it's like, he's smooth.
That's amazing because, like you said, you grew up maybe not watching NASCAR,
Yeah.
not necessarily, and that almost the exact opposite, right? I
Yeah.
grew up like not necessarily. I'm not going to say fanboying over your races, but I was watching NASCAR 2000
fanboy.
all the way from. I was a young kid watching NASCAR, not barely understanding what I was watching and still cheering for you guys. You know, so I watched. All
Yeah,
your
thanks for just
championship
sitting
wins.
there. The way you're saying that is that you were like a toddler and you were watching races.
Yeah,
at
you're right.
2 years old, and I was already racing, and so I'm old as hell is what you're basically trying to tell me.
I'm not trying to age you. I'm not trying to age
He's the
you.
grandpa of the group.
I am I'm the oldest one here. Besides, you know,
Sal wasn't able to make
Sal.
it.
He has no hairs.
He Sal has no hair. So. Sorry, Sal. Catching strays. He's not even here. We wish you were here, man. No, but it's true. I mean, you said he's really smooth with the race car. I've seen you do some incredible stuff in these professional Cup Series races. Now on the NHRA Series, it's incredible. I mean, I was actually just last night. I was like. Just looked up a couple of highlights. I was like, I'm trying to remember some of this stuff. And one of the highlights that came up was your 2015, the last race you did at Sonoma, 2015. And you and Denny were bumping and grinding a little bit to get to the end there. And that is the spirit of racing. He made it look so smooth, right? And I think, you took home that W that day. And that was the last time at that race, at that road course.
That was my last NASCAR win.
That was your last NASCAR
Yep.
win. Okay, incredible. I mean, can you want to talk anything about that or how you feel moving
Yeah,
from NASCAR to what you're doing nowadays?
The shift between NASCAR and NHRA is a drastic step. I mean, everything I'd done in motorsports. I mean, I'd ran IndyCar, NASCAR, dirt track cars, sports cars, you name it, and fill in the gaps of everything in between there. I've driven it at some point, and it all kind of fits in this giant bubble. And things are on different sides of the bubble, but they're all in there. And there's a lot of things that transfer from car to car. You go to drag racing now, you're out of this big bubble, and you go over here to this little island called Fantasy Island, and it's NHRA drag racing. It is totally different than anything I'd ever done. And like Matt said, I mean, I think the single coolest thing about drag racing is that families get to come to the racetrack. They buy their tickets to come in. They literally have the ability to walk through the pits right where we're working on the cars. When we warm up the cars, they smell it, they feel it, they hear it, and there's no other form of motorsports that has that access. So you see these kids with their parents, and they're sitting there and they're literally 10 feet from us while we're working on the car. And when we get time and we're not working with the crew chiefs, and we've got a lot of obligations at the track with sponsors and guests and this and that, but when we get time, we get to just walk 20 feet over to the ropes and just start signing autographs and talking to people. And I'm actually enjoying that now on the drag race side. I mean, there's times when you're busy and it's hectic, and like Matt says, I mean, they they get a little anxious sometimes, and you're busy and you got things you got to do, and they get yelling. But aside from that, though, I mean, you really get to spend a lot of time with fans, and I've had a blast the last couple of years hearing stories, and I get to hear all the time, I was watching you when I was 3 years old, so you're not the first one to make me feel old, by the way. But
I'm sorry to do that.
but it's cool. It's
But it
cool
was
that you get
amazing.
to see these people.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to see a photo of me holding this guy as a child
that's
in a
great.
photo, and then he shows up and he's there with his kid in the same position.
Wow.
So
That's
it's cool to see, fans that have followed us through different stages of our career. But man, the drag racing deal is drastically different.
Can you speak on like the difference between like, obviously in NASCAR you're hitting a lot of concrete and beat up and stuff like that, but like in a dragster you're still pulling a lot of G's, you know what I mean? You're like the forces and some of that stuff that your body, how does that compare to the two different sports,
Yeah, I mean you would sit there
You
and
got
think
knocked out this year,
twice.
Yeah.
Well, knocked out once, but I mean I had 2 concussions this year and only crashed once. One of them was just from
from
literally
launch.
blowing the motor up. The concussion from that, and it's way worse for him. But hard part for me is I've already had previous concussions, so it makes it easier for me to have them down the road. But yeah, these things are so violent compared to what we deal with, and even on just a normal run when everything goes right. I mean, we have a chiropractor that comes to half the races because I've had so many back injuries and stuff and the crew guys, I mean, they're pulling cylinder heads off the car. I mean, they're doing heavy lifting, so we literally bring a chiropractor to the track half of the season.
Yeah.
All the crew guys get worked on, the drivers get worked on when we want, so
Do you think
it helps.
A race weekend in your funny car, is that harder on your body than the race weekend was in NASCAR? Because it's obviously you're spending a lot more time in the NASCAR in a
Sure.
stock car. So it's more of like an endurance thing, kind of, So I can imagine. What do you think beats you up more, a weekend, racing Cup Series, or a weekend racing the funny car?
If you don't crash anything in either cars, definitely the drag racing's harder on you physically. Just because, and it's like Matt said, it's literally just the
It's a fraction of
G-forces.
the amount of time. You're
Yeah.
spending a fraction of the amount of time in the car.
I mean, when I started dating Lee, I remember, I was cyber stalking her after our first date, and I remember seeing an interview that she did, and somebody had asked her what she thought the difference was between the Cup Series and NHRA Top Fuel Racing, and I thought her answer was really, really good. She goes, "What they do in 3.5 hours, we do in 3.5 seconds." And it's the intensity of it. I mean, you're taking, when you're driving a Cup car and you're in any kind of sport, you're making split-second decisions. In drag racing, you have to make a split-second decision off of that split-second decision. Right. So that's how fast you have to act and react. And but the physical G-forces of it, I mean, positive G's, and then when those parachutes come out and you go from being slammed in the seat this way to now you're slammed into 2 belts.
You got 12
that are holding you out.
swing, you know what I mean?
Do you guys have to do like special training for like the G-forces you go through? Because like I used to be in the Marine Corps, and all the pilots they have to go through special training for the G-forces.
Sure, that's like spinning thing, right? It's
we-
spinning around.
Not really. It's
Huh?
G-force. Like literally, people pass out from it because
Sure.
of the
We don't sustain the G's long enough.
Yeah.
The run's
Literally, yeah.
a sub 4-second run, and it's not trying to push it down to your legs anyway. I mean, it's trying to push it this
Yeah.
way. If anything, the blood's coming to your head because it's coming from your legs up.
My dad's like, "You're fat." I was like, "No, it's really, I feel like I was swallowing in my head." It's the blood is up there, yeah. But no, I mean, like, honestly, I can't compare anything to the NASCAR or anything like that. But after if you've done qualifying and you've won the race, that Monday afterwards is always like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, just the adrenaline that you have to call, like that fight or flight syndrome that you have to get up for in between rounds. You have to, it's like no different, like if your body got ready to, if a freaking bear come through the door, it's like, all right, let's go, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you got the bear, not us.
Yeah, you get the bear. We're going out this side door right here.
We don't have to outrun the bear. We just got to outrun Matt.
Right.
But it's that adrenaline that you have to call on, and that focus and that intensity that you have to do that 4 times on Sunday, and you have to be up for that. And then in between rounds, that comes down, and you have to figure out how to call on that to get that back up. But you can't be over-centered either, to where you're up there and you red light or you do something that's out of character. So it's like finding that, that space where you're like in that zone and you're focused and you're cutting the tree down and you're doing what you're supposed to up there as far as driving and navigating the racetrack and, different things like that, and dropping cylinders and picking cylinders up and whatnot. But like, on Sunday, when you have to ask your mind and your body to do that 4 times in a row and it be consistent every time, you know, I think like that's what's so mentally and physically draining with what we do. You know what I mean? Calling on that and it being there when you need it to be there.
Matt hit the nail on the head. Monday, you're tired, you're exhausted. Both series. If you race a cup race, you're tired on Monday. NHRA, you're definitely tired on Monday. But it's 2 different reasons. The things that get you on the NASCAR side is in the middle of summer, you're in a 145-degree car for 3.5 hours.
Right.
That's not pleasant for anybody. Our deal, it's like Matt said, and Matt hit it perfect, is these adrenaline spikes you go through. So you get the adrenaline, you're all up, you're all in tune with what's going on, and then after a certain amount of time, after that run's over, that adrenaline drops. When the adrenaline drops, your energy drops with it. You go to the finals, you're making 4 rounds, you're going through 4 cycles of that adrenaline deal. So it's like, I always sat there and go, why do they look like they ran half a marathon and they just drove 4 seconds? Well, you get out of the car, you realize that all the physical stuff going on, plus the adrenaline spikes. So there's a lot of variables in the equation that are just more than surface level that create that anxiety and create all that stress in your body.
I'm sure the first race is probably the most adrenaline inducing. Like you get the most jitters, and then like if they can't, if they cancel it on you, like how do you even release that?
It naturally will.
Trends that
He doesn't. Matt doesn't have to deal with this because on race day the first cars are the top fuel cars, and then funny car goes behind that. And there have been literally my very first top fuel race, I was the first pair of the day. So you're buckled in the car. They're doing the national anthem. You're sitting there like, you're ready. You're ready to go.
To stay up.
Well, you're ready to go, and you're nervous because nobody's been down the racetrack. There hasn't been a car go down the racetrack, so you don't know. It's very stressful for the tuners. Obviously, they don't know how hard to press and not press. I mean, they're
different prep tracks and stuff.
Right. You're making educated guesses at that point. So, you always don't. You want to be in a position where you don't have to be that first pair, and you can, third or fourth pair out. It's pretty ideal. You get to watch cars go, and if they're going good, then you kind of spice it up a little bit. If all of a sudden it's like, man, we don't know what's going on, but these guys aren't getting down. They've got time to make adjustments to back it off. Where that first pair of the day, man, you're the guinea pig. Yeah, you're like, man, I hope this thing goes, and be ready for anything. And the crew chief's like, be ready for anything. They don't know. I mean, they have their numbers they're working off of. It's not like you're just throwing a dart on the dartboard and hoping it works. But
and there's so much chatter in our ears all the way up till they fire the car up. I mean, for me, sometimes I just want to unplug, but obviously they need, sometimes a lot of times what's great too is they'll tell you, hey, look, it's dragging some cars in, or it's pulling some cars out, or it's doing that over here, or these guys are shaking at 70 feet. Be ready to kind of have to pedal it, knock the clutch loose, or whatever it may be. So that input is always great, but people don't realize they're making tire temperature or tire pressure changes. They're making clutch changes, wing changes. How much alcohol to put in there to dilute the nitro down with the tune-up. All the way fuel flows, clutch flows, all that kind of stuff, and that's all happening all the way up until you fire the car. I mean, the difference between the clouds coming in for your run or the clouds moving out for your run. How much grip's up there, and so it's just people have no idea like the variables that change that these crew chiefs have to deal with. It's just unbelievable.
Sure. No, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense that there are just a million variables. So that's the smallest change here or there makes a difference. So having more data of people running before you just gives you that much more information to make a better pass. So makes a lot of sense. I totally get it. Do you want to talk anything about, because you mentioned you do have these spikes and you have, 40 minutes roughly, right, at least before you get another go at it. How do you stay in the zone? Do you go and zen and sit on your own, or how do you stay in the zone? How do you stay up during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of times, I used to think, I got to go back and pound all these energy drinks and this and that, but it's just like, it's just finding that happy medium of where you're still up and you're still moving around, like Tony will do his fuel and, different things like that, just keeping going, and I think for me that kind of, it doesn't get you so down to where you're just chilling in the lounge.
You can't just sit down,
call on that, you know what I mean? So we're always bouncing around a little bit, but for me, it's always like, I'm really bad about, like, I got this nervous tick, like, I like that, when I get strapped into the car, that's when it's just like, you've done it so long that your mind just is like, okay, now we're here, this is what we got to do, we got to focus and move forward. And you're just, you get in that, but like I get this energy of where it's like I've got it going, so like my leg gets to shaking, I get to hitting the pedal a little bit with the burnout stop, and everybody, my guys will be like just leave him alone, like he's got his
You're
thing,
in the zone right now. Don't mess it up.
yeah. So but like also they worry, like if I'm not doing that, like we ain't in the zone.
Down? Is it down today?
Yeah. So but it's like you can't force that, you got to just, it's got to come, you know what I mean? And for me, a lot of times, like when I do the burnout, if I don't feel up, like I'll just change my breathing around a little bit. Like I'll take some deeper breaths and I'll start to get my heart rate up a little bit more. I get chill bumps thinking and talking about it, but it's just like being able to control that a little bit, I think helps, and I've been doing it a long time. So, you get after a while where you feel like you need to be. And for me, I can help that with slowing my breathing down or increasing my breathing. But a lot of times I'll do that on a burnout. It's like backing up from a burnout. If I'm not up, I'll start like getting some breaths going and getting that heart rate up a little bit, that kind of stuff. Or if I'm too up, I'll try to slow my breathing down a little bit, what I mean? So, and a lot of times my guys can figure that out where I'm at with how fast I'm backing up, you know what I mean? So
there you go.
They were like, oh shit, he's too up. But,
He's too up.
But yeah, I think that's just with everybody. They got to find that place where they're good, and I think Tony could probably call on that because he drove so much different things, or so many different vehicles, and so many different series. I'm sure all that kind of changes with a lot of those different things. But for me, I've been very blessed to do this for close to 20 years. So, once you get pulled into that seat and you get in that car, like you could sit in my lap up until that point. Like, I don't care. Like, we can go do this and talk about this and do that stuff. But once I get in the car, then it's like, okay, everybody else kind of fades away and this is my deal. And my guys pull me down tight, and then it's, you got your 5 or 10 minutes there to kind of get focused, So, yeah.
No, that's great.
Turning it on and off a little bit.
It's funny because I'm the polar opposite of him on that aspect. But there's parts of it that I've had to adapt to what he does. I've raced for over 40 years, so I've got a routine of what I'm used to. And I like to be the opposite. I like to be really calm and mellow because I'm naturally going to get amped up when we get in the car. But it's you go through those spikes like that, and like he said, you get back, you drain fuel, you do the things you got to do, and try to spend some time with the fans, but then you have to take some time. I got to go up in the lounge and just chill out. Okay. I got to get myself down and then start the process of building back up. So, but to me, the reset is getting my heart rate down, getting back to some, if you want to call it normal, I guess, get down and get normal. And then I know the routine of if we're supposed to run in 30 minutes, this is when I start doing this and this and this and this to then get where I want to be when it's time to do the run. But
because from your first run to your last run is such a long
Yes.
period. You can't stay up the whole time.
That's right. There's no way you can do that. Not at that level. I mean, it's way, way, way higher in the top fuel and funny cars and drag racing because it's not like a cup race where you get 500 laps, you make a mistake one corner, you got 499 more laps to fix it. Exactly. It is one and done in our deal, so you have to make sure whatever it is you're doing and how you're doing it, you do it right the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense, honestly. And I can't imagine. I mean, I'll just to be completely honest with you guys, we were setting up cameras and stuff and getting ready in here, and I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous that we're running out of time. I was like, man, they might show up and I don't have a mic plugged in or whatever it might be. So I can only imagine you're you're at the starting line and you're like, it all comes down,
Well, and people don't realize, like, our sponsors, they spend what you could buy a small home. Every race, right? So people like, like they're like, are you up for this race? And you're up for every race. Right?
Every race.
It's like everything matters all the time because like I said, Tony has other businesses, I have businesses at home, and you understand where that dollar goes and how hard it is to make it. And it just when you have a sponsor there, they're like, oh man, you're trying to win a championship. Look, every race is so important. I mean, there is so much money involved in doing this. So like when you go up there and you make a mistake as a driver, or you got to go, the worst feeling in the world to me is like when you have 10 guys and you got to come back and you look them in the eye and you're like, I'm sorry, bro. And sorry don't cut it. You know what I mean? So that to me is like, that's the worst feeling in the world. Like that, I try everything in my body and my power to not make those mistakes because that's like, you just looking in your dude's eyes and knowing you disappointed them or you let them down. It's just not acceptable, right? On top of it costing, you could go out here and buy a home somewhere for what it costs to run one of these cars every weekend,
Yeah. No, I get it. It's one thing to, not hit your goal, but it's another thing to hit your goal and feel like you didn't put everything you had on it.
Right.
Because that's what we all have a competitive nature. You guys obviously are, one of the most competitive professional racers in the world at this point, and so you guys are doing it at a much higher level. but it boils down to everyone's lives that way.
Sure.
You know, and well, I mean, honestly, this experience meeting you guys not only at Roadkill Nights, hanging out at SEMA for a little bit, now doing this at PRI.
Yeah, man.
It's an incredible journey that we've got put on through Dodge,
We
connecting
expect
with
to
you
see you
guys.
guys at the races more now.
I can't wait. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like such a great time. And the season starts. When does the next season
I
start?
guess March.
March,
right?
beginning of March.
First is
It's like you guys do this, as a profession. It's like I have a local track back home. Like I used to hot lap my freaking Scat Pack every day down the track. I only ran like 12 seconds. Hey, like you got to start somewhere, right?
That wasn't the car's fault. That thing will run 11s. It's the driver,
I
obviously.
had a junior drag. Yeah, I heard that one. Yeah. Hey, look, hey, you know what? Maybe Josh can give us some keys to some cars. And we can go
Some
race
faster
it out.
cars, yeah. I'm ready.
Fun.
Imagine that.
I know where they hide them.
You guys could show us how it's
You know where
done.
they hide 'em.
When did you guys know you were gearheads? Like at what age? Were you playing with Hot Wheels or?
The crazy thing is I wouldn't even call myself a gearhead necessarily. I'm a racer,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say I'm a car guy / gearhead. I mean, I'm not in there thrashing, working on my cars when I'm home and got spare time. I mean, when I get home, I need to chill out and relax, and I've got a wife and a 1-year-old son now. When I get home, I need to chill out and spend time with my family.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Jackson,
So-
there's room for people like me in the racing community. You don't have to be a
We're always
machine
giving-
specialist.
we're always
He's over
bagging
there.
on 'em 'cause
It's hard.
Oh, come on.
It's
Okay,
super
stop.
hard for me because, I married Leah, and Leah and Matt have been sponsored by Dodge forever. So Leah knows this and knows this paint code and color and knows this option on the Challenger, the Charger. And I'm like, yeah, it's red, it's got 4 wheels, and man, the steering wheel and the seat feel really nice in this car. I like driving this car.
Leah
But-
keeps Tony from paying for premium air.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah.
For me, I was the same way. I mean, I'm not a gearhead by no means. I couldn't tell you how to rebuild anything. It's just they don't even let me touch anything on the race car.
Really?
It's like, no, you're a seagull. You fly in, you shit on everything, you fly home.
There you go.
But it's one of those things where I was 13 and I got a chance to run a 4-wheeler at a drag strip from a friend of mine, and I was like, man, I can win money doing this. And I won $130. And I was just like, drag racing is it. And so I started stealing used cars off my dad's car lot and bringing them back with no transmission in them and different things like that. And he's like, what are we doing? So one thing led to another. But yeah, I think it's more about the competition aspect of it, of just being able to compete at any level. Like no different than you guys talking about taking your local stuff out there. I don't care if we're running lawnmowers, man. I just want an opportunity to beat you. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure my stuff and my group of guys are doing a better job than you. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what we're racing as long as we're racing. And I think I've found that out with Tony. I mean, this dude's good at Tetris and different things like that. He's like, you don't want to play him in pool either. You know what I mean? Like he finds that it's just competition.
Competitive nature.
Find those levels of whatever you're doing. You want to be the best at it. So whether it's drag racing or pool or video games or bowling or whatever it may be, it's just being like, hey, we're on that level. This is me and you. Let's see what you got. You know what I mean? And that's what drives me.
But the coolest thing for us working with Dodge is that we get to drive everything they have. And like I said, they have been the best OEM to work with. I mean, you put a scratch on it, they're going to be like, well, we really didn't want to scratch on it, but were you having a good time, and were you looking cool doing it?
Yeah,
So, and they literally,
Experience you get out of it.
well, you worried about, man, I mean, I don't want to bring this thing with the tires half bald. If you don't bring it back with the tires half bald,
something wrong.
Yeah,
they're
they're
frustrated and they're mad.
Trust me.
So having Dodge as an OEM and getting to thrash and drive cars and really push every car they have to the limit and find out how they drive. I mean, for us, the fun part is, man, it's got great acceleration, it's got good brakes, it handles good, it drives nice, it's comfortable inside. Those are the things that, from our aspect as car people, those are the things that we think about versus, what's it really got in it, and what's it got for
So you guys are
supercharger.
drivers.
Yeah, we're drivers and enjoy the driving experience of it. I mean, to take what, the technology that Stellantis and Dodge and Ram put into all their vehicles and everything, to sit there and go, hey, we got a new car. Well, I can't wait to drive it because I want to see how it drives. I want to see how it handles. I want to see how it performs. And, like Matt says, then when you get in situations where you're running late to a dinner and you need to make up 5 minutes going through town, now I know what I can do with this car. I know what it's capable of. I know what I can do with the car, and I know I can shave at least 3.5, maybe 5 minutes off of this trip here to get us there on time.
You look at the ETA, you're like, bet.
Yeah, it's sad. That was the worst thing that was happening when we all got GPSs and everything, and it said, "All right, you're going to be here at 12:30." I'm like, I can do it in 12:20. I could get there 10 minutes early. So you get racing the GPS sometimes. So
If you've ever
when you load it in, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and I hate that.
Like, if you ever
That's
played video
awesome.
games, you just gave me a time to beat.
Yeah, that's the part I hate is because, I've had some speeding tickets in my lifetime, and it's like there's times that I'm racing the GPS going, we're not even in a hurry to get where we're going. Why am I doing this?
That's the competitive nature.
It just
And,
feels
he
fun.
said-
So.
No, well, you know what, guys? We're so grateful that you take the time to come hang out with us, talk about, our experiences together. I hope that we get to do this more often, honestly. Hanging out with you guys feels like
We could
you're
talk for
another
hours, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. No, but if you want
Well, you would, but you guys got a date in the pool, it sounds like. The four of you guys are going to be in the pool together and continue talking.
into the pool, man.
I'm not getting in the pool with you guys. I'm just telling you. So.
We do have a pool at our hotel, so.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Yeah.
We'll drop a pin. We'll see if you guys make it to the pool. No, but thank you guys again. If there's anything you wanted to kind of close out the episode with, final note.
Obviously, hats off to Dodge for doing what they do with you guys, with us.
Yeah.
They hook us up with some great vehicles. I got a Hellcat Durango they hooked me up with, and I take people on rides with it all the time. They're like, this
Launchpad's
grocery
crazy,
getter
yeah.
is crazy. Dude,
Dude, it ain't a grocery getter. It may look like it on the outside, but it ain't no grocery
Grocery days
getter.
on the weekdays, track on the weekend.
Yeah, they literally sent me the jailbreak, the striker purple one, and I had it for like a week, and the launch control on that thing's crazy. You don't expect that out of a heavy car or SUV,
But they've been a great partner, man, and we're excited to do stuff with you guys to help grow the brand and different things like that. And they do a really good job with their marketing agencies and stuff with JRT and stuff like that to set this stuff up. So anytime that you guys want to do stuff, just there's three of us that.
Oh man, we'll reach out. Absolutely, we want to hang out with you guys every chance we get. And Tony, anything else if you wanted to close us out?
He's a good speaker, man. He knows what to say at the end of this.
You
So
nailed it.
we just enjoy doing what we do and enjoy being a part of it with you guys. Like I said, Dodge is a great partner, and it's this early December now, and we got holidays coming up. But I mean, as much as we love holidays, we also love being at the racetrack. And we complain at the end of the year that we don't have a long enough off season. But as soon as we get in the off season, we can't wait to get back to the racetrack. So can't wait to see you guys there. Can't wait to see our fans come back to the NHRA races, and looking forward to being in a season where I'm driving for a different team and racing against my wife and having a good time. So
we
should be
didn't
fun.
get a chance to touch on that, but we will the next time we see you.
Yeah, that's why. Well, it's not the
Hopefully-
only time we talk to each
Absolutely.
other. So
That's
can't give
the-
them all the good stuff in one episode.
Can't give them everything
not
at
the
once.
shrimp chips.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hot Cheeto mac and cheese. Well, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Matt, thank you for being here.
Yes,
Tony,
sir.
you guys are absolutely legends at what you do. We're so grateful, to be doing this with you guys, and we have a lot more coming for you guys at home too. This is our episode at PRI, but we'll be back together in January for Radford. We'll be doing some more stuff, and before you know it, we'll be knocking out these guys in a competition of some sort. Let's do it. So, thank you guys for liking, comment, subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.